Are back.
Hey, there we go. All right. Sorry, everybody, for listening live.
I'm assuming it's the same stream.
Okay. Hopefully it's the same stream.
It's just
Still
people
says 7
watching.
viewers. All right. If you can hear us, say something. Say hello. Say you can hear us. We're trying to make sure that this show can continue. Because the show must go on.
Yeah, I don't know
it
what's
must
going
always
on.
go
This is what we're here for. I'm like,
So,
thank you very much,
so the
Amy.
big change in your life has been
Bang.
We are live.
We are live.
And it looks like it's the same stream.
okay,
All right.
cool. Back at it.
Let me just do a quick check on the Facebook.
back at it like a crack addict.
Are we what? We're trying to make sure that this show can continue. Yeah, it looks like we're good. It looks like we are good. All right.
Thanks for
well,
we have 0
Where were
viewers
we?
again. Either way, they will come back.
We'll figure it out. We're
Yeah.
gonna figure it out.
It's all good.
All right. To really just jump right back into it, and we will edit for the podcast. We'll have to splice this guy together. Big change happened in your life. You, as I was going to say, in a religious way, you found yoga. You found yoga. What was your first introduction to yoga? How did you start just doing it routinely, and then how did it build to where you have it now, where it is a large part of your life?
And we're back.
Cool. So I actually started practicing yoga at age 14.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Very
and that's
cool.
what's so cool about the work that I do now is I started as a freshman, and really the intent of practicing yoga, like, it was before yoga was known or cool. It was like 2006, 2005.
Yeah, like LA and New York, there were yogas.
Yeah,
like,
but it was
studios.
like a vibe, but like not
Yeah.
many people. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't really a thing.
You were obviously a dirty hippie if you were doing it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
yes.
And
Who
so
needs to
I had
remind
like an
shoppers?
undercover relationship with yoga actually, because I would go party with my friends like as a teenager.
Yeah.
But at home I was actually doing yoga.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah. So I was gifted for my 14th birthday a yoga mat with intention to like lose weight and become more healthy and less stress, less anxiety.
That's a lot to put on a 14-year-old.
But it was a blessing because
Was
I'm rooted in trauma, as we all are.
Yeah.
Fucked up childhoods, right?
Sure.
Like our entire foundation. So for me, it really was a blessing, because I was in a really dark space as a teenager.
Were you kind of gothic? Were you a little on the goth
Yeah,
side?
I was definitely gothic.
Was it scene at that point? Or
I don't know. I was
it
like My
gothic?
Chemical Romance,
Yeah.
like crying in the closet.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Hawthorne Heights, Ohio. So
Oh,
lovers.
yes. Ohio is for lovers.
Yeah.
Nikki FM, bro?
Yeah.
What? You Nikki FM'ing?
Yeah.
Somebody showed me some new rap, or like Juice World or something. Power was showing me this.
All right.
He's like, yo, what do you think? I pause the video, I turn around, I'm like, this is the same shit as Hawthorne Heights was when I was a teenager, dude. It's
Yeah.
like, this is not cool.
It was
man.
really good stuff to sit around and just like wallow in self-pity.
Yeah,
too.
that's exactly
Oh my
that
God.
was the
Yeah.
whole thing. Until,
Yeah.
and then I started practicing yoga. But, I just started to feel really good. And then, so I would just do it here and there. And then it wasn't until I was like 21, where I like actually had my first like real yoga experience.
Okay.
Because prior for those 6 years, I was just like doing like a DVD.
Okay.
Or YouTube, like meditation was coming out. But I had the opportunity to go to Kripalu, which is, it's kind of like the Harvard of yoga. It's in the Berkshires of Massachusetts.
Ooh, Berkshire's a nice area.
Yeah,
That
it
is-
was a VIP. So actually, that was like my 21st birthday gift.
Very cool.
Was going there.
And is that like a full, like, what's the program like going there?
Yeah, so it's a whole retreat center. So they have ongoing programs. I had the opportunity to go for like an R&R, which is like you just like can take yoga classes, you can just like eat, you can just like go to the spa. But yeah, and then I was gifted some books by Ram Dass.
Hell yeah, Ram
Yeah.
Dass, yeah.
Yeah, but like again, like back like 2011,
I lived in the
it
woods
wasn't.
with hippies. I know Ram
Yeah,
Dass.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I just
I don't know where I'm. I
Ram
live
Dass?
in the woods with
Oh,
rednecks.
I'm gonna have to
I
introduce
didn't know
you to
the
Ram Dass.
yeah, he's
He's
just
a-
like a spiritual guru who
Yeah.
started like really with like back through Harvard, like studying LSD.
Oh,
And then like shifted the
would love
entire
it.
culture of
Yeah, yeah.
of what spirituality
Yeah.
means. So I mean, I had the opportunity to do that. So, yeah, that was really transformative. But this was happening while I was working at Garfield's.
Very cool.
So I was like battling two worlds, or like living two lives.
I mean, you were definitely the Phoebe of the workforce at that point, like to put it in a crude way. Well, no, because again, the girl couldn't remember an apron because she was just so at peace with herself that she didn't need to.
And then I just like remember being and like I would just go and I remember like my breaking point. I remember like when I quit Garfield's because the movie theater had just opened and like I served these teens and they like tipped me like or they shorted me like 25 cents. And I was like, actually, fuck this. Like, I'm so done. Like, what am I doing? And why am I doing it for so long?
Not fucking worth it.
Yeah, no, it was not. And, so then I left, and then I got a better serving job, and then that started paying, like, big money. And I was like, okay, this is nice. But, yeah, so then I started... So fast forward a little bit more time, opportunity to work in New York City, follow, like, a pursuit of fashion, still have my yoga practice. But I felt really, isolated. I didn't feel like I was connecting, and I was like, this doesn't feel like something that I'm meant to do. So I would jog like 30 blocks to kind of just like release all this tension because I started at this restaurant with like the really like toxic kind of people who like basically would like shit on you.
Restaurant life,
literally
shit on you, but not the fun kind of
shit
on you.
They're not inviting you over to shit on you. They're just shitting on you.
So I was like in Rockefeller Center. It was like 5 p.m. and there was literally millions of people coming at me, and I just paused and I looked all around and like a light bulb went off and was like, you have to teach these people yoga. And I never thought about like teaching yoga before that, and I was like, all right, fuck it. I guess I'm moving back to the Poconos and pursuing it. So I ended up going to Kripalu for teacher training, all on scholarship. And then I became a yoga teacher. And then we didn't really have yoga happening in the Poconos, so I kind of just like put like a hustle mode on. And very quickly I connected with the Dansbury Community Center. I was with Yoga House Stroudsburg. I was with some gyms. And then I had an opportunity to teach children, which terrified me because
that is a scary thought.
Terrifying creatures.
And I was never around a child, really.
Yeah. Are you an only child? Do you have any siblings?
I'm the baby. I'm
you're the
older
baby,
sister.
so you never had to deal with somebody younger than you, other than in school in that situation. Yeah, I remember when I was going to Northampton for that one semester I did I was going to be a teacher, that I had to do an in-class study for I was like shadowing a math class. And I sat in the classroom and I'm like watching the teacher who I had in like 6th grade or 7th grade deal with all these kids, and I was like, oh, they're terrible.
They're terrifying.
They're like, I don't. And then immediately I was like, yeah, this is a waste of money. I'm not going to pursue this. This is bad.
Yeah.
So you got into teaching kids. What was your first experience with yoga?
The kids were ages like 4 and 5.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is the specific. A lot of the work I do is that young. I was at a daycare in Marshalls Creek, and I was so scared. I was more terrified to do that than like teach adults, and I was like, fuck, like I don't know when are they gonna receive it. But they received it so well, and they lit up, and I felt really good. And to like just see children meditating, and then that they were actually listening and being very well behaved for me, more so than their teacher. And I was like, this is nice. And so I started following suit, and then I had an opportunity. I reached out to the superintendent at Chipperfield. It just started like kind of a domino effect, and I was like, actually, like this is a niche that we need to like that. There could be a successful market and opportunity to really share. So, that was about 4 years ago. And as of now, I created an organization called Shanti Students. I'm partnered with 24 schools in the Poconos.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I go in, I work, and I train.
And is this just you? Is this you? You are your solo operation. You've built it all yourself. You've gotten it to where it is now. And what has been the reception from a lot of the teachers in the schools? And have you heard anybody saying... I mean, obviously people are going to be negative, but have you had any really good positive feedback from either teachers about students or teachers about themselves?
Real quick before you answer that,
yes.
Rich has a statement saying meditation should be taught to kids for real.
And it is. I work with about 250 kids a week. Damn. Today I taught 45 kids, ages 2 through 5.
That all one room, all one big shot, like in the gymnasium, everybody set up. And like they all have yoga mats and everything like that, or do you just do it on like the mats, like the gym mats?
Yeah, it's different everywhere I go, which is what I love. I don't like consistency, so I want to like kind of be thrown in it.
Yeah.
But it's always a little different, and going off of what you had asked about the positive reception,
the positive feedback. Yeah.
Completely positive. I've actually had 0 to like maybe 1 negative. Besides that, I've had green light.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so it's been
you going to an organization or a school and they're like, no.
Yeah, I've actually had none. I have never been shut down. The thing that was like the most tricky is finding funding.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, we have community sponsors. We're really pulling in. And, you know, a good amount of the stuff I've done is volunteer. Really just moving through, like, the intention of holding that space. And then the universe kind of gifts me in other ways with abundance. So, yeah. So, I've worked already now with about 4,000 students. And some of them, you know, 4 years. So, I started at age 2. Now there's 6. So they've had working with me every week. A
2-year-old. Oh my! I got nieces and nephews, and getting a 2-year-old to just like sit, like you can't do that.
For
like
30 minutes, they'll sit for me.
That's so crazy.
I know. They call me the Pied Piper, which is like, I'm like, I'll take it, but
good and bad.
I'll take it wherever. I'm stealing these children.
Yeah.
Come to my yoga world.
Yeah. Aw, no.
Yeah, it's such a great life.
You're like,
you couldn't have been the child whisperer. You had to be the Pied Piper. Oh, that's
You're gonna be like a supervillain eventually,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Eventually, your hair's gonna go all black. You're gonna have one white strip in.
Yeah, you'll have an army of child soldiers that you taught to meditate since they were 2.
That are all just like concentrated on your evil goal. Yeah.
I'm just like sharing love.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's such an evil goal. Why would you do that? Oh my gosh. So you're saying a lot of positive reception.
Yeah.
Have you had like any kids that were a challenge that like it took like one of those I got to reach this kid that you really had to like struggle to get to, or have most of them been receptive to it?
Well, so you know, I really think it starts with how I approach it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go in with kind of resistance, or like, especially of course, like there's gonna be some kids that are like looking at their phone or like rolling their eyes. So I think if I react, then it like manifests that, then it just like creates like this difficult energy.
Yeah.
But if I'm just like, all right guys, you know, and then like I kind of like preach like I'm here to share this with you, like this wisdom, you know, and you can take it or not, but like I'm here, just like listen to what I have to say, because a lot of the work, I teach yoga, but it's a lot of just more about mindfulness. So conscious communication, positive affirmations. It's basically about how to create the life we want to live and be successful at it.
Now, are you a believer, and this is something that, again, living in the woods with some hippies and learning a lot of things that I never would have been, you know, had my mind opened up to, the idea of, like, manifest destiny, the idea if I put in good thought into this, if I approach this idea, like, if you go in and go, this is going to fail, it's got a way better chance of failing.
Sure.
But do you, like, I mean, obviously, I feel like meditating kind of, like, will naturally put you there if you're at, like, you're calm and you're looking at things reasonably. Do you feel like there is, like, you manifested a lot of the goodwill towards you by just kind of being, like, calm and peaceful and approaching it with a positive outlook?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't disregard the struggle, like, you know, or trauma or pain or suffering, because we're all humans, like, destined to, like, be in that dark shit. But I think if we, like, really just strive to the success with anything we want to create, success is going to follow. Because now, you know, I'm 4 years into this, self-employed, more schools are coming every day. I'm getting emails, and it's like, and then I was on like Christmas Eve, I was the cover of Pocono Record.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, like, which was like, I had no idea
That's
either
so cool.
that was gonna happen, and then I get all these texts, and they're like, you're on the cover, and I'm like, what?
That's cool.
Yeah, I saw that, and that was what initially I was like, oh shit, like your shit's like really like starting to blow up.
Yeah.
And you know, that was what kind of like sparked like, okay, I need to like, I think I was at work, I was working at the bar, and somebody had a paper, and they were literally sitting there with the paper open reading it, and I'm looking at like the cover of the paper just going, and I did one of those things where I just took the paper from the person. I was like, hold on a second. They're like, what? I'm like, I just need the outside, like the front page. I'm like, I know her. This is crazy. This is like, and they're like, it's a local paper. You probably know a lot of people.
Give me the fucking paper back and pour me another drink, asshole.
And I did it. I threw it away, and then I kicked them out. That's what I probably did.
Get out of here.
So with doing yoga regularly, what is regular? Are you every day? Are you waking up? Is yoga the first thing you do? Is it stretching and getting yourself just kind of into that Zen mode? And if it's every day, how many times a day or does it fluctuate?
Yeah, it does fluctuate. I mean, ideally the practice, again, I'm a yoga teacher, I teach yoga, but it's really more about meditation for me. What's so cool, like the purpose of yoga is just to get the body and the nervous system in balance so that the mind can stop chattering.
And I hear it's always like a lot about the breathing of it, like focusing on your breath, because I mean, anybody that's ever looked into like a self-help book, it's just a lot of them just kind of go breathe, breathe, like learn how to breathe. And for me, working in the restaurant industry for my entire adult life, it took me a long time to get to the moment where like you're like in that frenzy and everything's going to shit and you're just like fuck. And as a front of house person,
take a step back.
But to be able just to sit there and know, okay, I know that there are 1,000 things that I need to do right now, but I'm not going to get them done, and I'm not going to get them done well if I keep up this mentality.
Right.
And then I just sit there and I'll just like literally like go to the back of house or wherever where nobody that's paying will see me. I just stop and I literally do like a woosah, just like a
yay.
All right, and I always hear like 4 deep breaths like will just totally like help you reset. And I found that I was like, oh,
goose.
Anger management.
Whatever you need, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that's
pick your mantra. Yeah.
I actually, when I was a server in my server book, I had a picture that said, if you have time to breathe, you have time to meditate, because inevitably, like when you're in like that Terminator mode, and shit's coming out, and you have like you don't have any control, so the kitchen's on fire, you have no control.
It's a reactionary
times are 50
life.
minutes.
Yeah. You were total in reaction mode there. Yeah.
So I feel like being a server is what. And like having like a side practice is what created success for me, because I had to like learn to like really process in the moment.
Yeah.
And that also goes for manifestation. Like if you know, like you start that ripple domino effect of like, fuck, the kitchen's burning down.
Yep.
That's how your night's gonna unfold.
Yeah.
So.
Because especially you're just gonna have that mentality of like, fuck it, like light a match, burn it all down, walk away. Like it's not a good way to live.
Or just take a couple deep breaths and then get $100 tip.
I just got some information that I guess the Wallenpaupack School District does meditation and yoga for their elementary as curriculum.
Have you gotten that far up there into the Poconos?
No, I have not. I'm actually in space right now.
You missed out, apparently.
I mean, I'm plentiful.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful. I'm actually like calling in a team. I'm writing 2 curriculums.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So are you building people to work below you now and to help build and spread the...
Yeah, to sustain. Because a lot of my work now is calling me into the city, New York City. So, but all of the work that I put in here, and I have so much support, so it's just about really choosing who has the intent for the...
And are you doing the same thing there? You're going to schools?
Yeah, so I'm doing the schools. I'm actually, my work has really evolved to support families.
Okay.
So on the 22nd of February, I'm leading a one-day retreat in the city at this like really cool conscious place called the Assemblage.
Okay.
Where like Deepak Chopra has taught. It's pretty, it's
Jesus.
pretty renowned. I know, it's getting good. But yeah, like
his
really.
daughter married a Jonas.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
Big
who
news.
that is?
Yeah. Deepak Chopra's daughter married Blank Jonas.
I guess she's an Indian princess.
Yeah, I don't know if she's a princess, but
She's
and the way that like a lot of Jewish American girls will call themselves a Jewish American princess, maybe she does that, but I'm not sure.
But he's Jewish?
No.
I'm
I'm saying in the way.
I'm getting real confused now.
Yes. He's an Indian Jew. I think that's what he is. Yeah. No, he's just another spiritual.
I know who he is.
Okay. All right.
I didn't know that was his daughter.
Yeah.
I remember it was like all over the internet for a while. I'm like, who is this woman? I don't know who she is.
Yeah. Like you thought you like missed like 20 movies with somebody in it, or like.
Yeah, I was like, she's got to be famous.
A YouTuber,
but I don't know
maybe
who she,
some blogger. Yeah. No.
She was born into
She was born into it. She definitely was. Yeah, Deepak Chopra.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah, so doing the work and now building the team. What is like your trajectory? What are you thinking is the kind of the goal for your business and like your approach to all of this? Is it to be statewide? Is it to be really just not to use the word influencer the way people use it nowadays, but like a positive influence on curriculum for schools? Because I mean, Richard said it in the chat, and I think everybody that had a childhood that they can remember not being always, even if your family life was fine, just your mental, stability.
Yeah, I mean,
having somebody show you like a shortcut.
Just something
almost.
to take home.
Yeah.
Because not
Yeah,
everybody has
definitely.
somebody to go home to. Like
Yeah.
when I would get home from school, I was the only kid on my block. My parents were working; they had the support. So,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't see anybody. So it was just like, you know, to bring better knowledge from schools is a good thing.
Yeah.
I love it, yeah.
definitely is.
And so really I love the word tools. Like that's what I send the kids home. So and ideally and when I teach or teach retreats or anything, it's not like I'm the one that knows it all. It's like, here, take these unlimited different types of ways. Because like even creating music is a form of meditation. If you're in that flow state, so it's like really just understanding what serves best, and then go home and do it, and then share it with the community. So the 2 curriculums I'm writing is one specific to support teachers, then bring it into the school day throughout the day, and then the other is a curriculum specific to train adolescents with the tools so that they can mentor and have a ripple effect. I see the work really evolving where now I'm getting opportunities to hold assemblies, so I can work with an entire school in one shot, go through an entire day, and then have the people, the team being like to do the after school program, but I'm more supporting an entire school and then the district, and then working. I also I work and I train like the nurses, the custodians, the cafeteria workers,
really?
the admin,
That's cool.
the teachers.
That's awesome.
I do staff development, like Pocono Mountain East. I went in August and trained all of their teachers for the entire day. Basically, how to take care of yourself, how to feel healthy and happy. And there's so much positive feedback. Like, I'm telling you, I'm so grateful that I've been on this.
When somebody is giving you not the answer, because that's the problem. People are always looking for the answer to my problems, the way to resolve everything, whether it is in a fucking bottle, whether it's in another person,
cocaine,
or anything like if
that's
it's in a
the
drug.
answer.
Like if you're looking for the answer. For Zach, it's cocaine.
It's not.
Poor Zach.
Up until about 7 years ago, then he stopped and he never touched it. But yeah, like the idea. There's this meme that I always think about that somebody put together, and it was all over Facebook one week, and it was, imagine that you're playing a video game. Your life is a video game. And somebody else that is either, taking a different path in that video game or has played the whole video game is able to kind of give you like hints at shit and be like, yo, man, you might want to listen to me. I went through the game already, and this is a good way for you to beat this level.
But
and
as a kid, you always go, fuck you, I know better.
I want to. So that's what
I'm
stops me working
13 and
with
I'm
kids.
smarter than everyone else.
Yep.
Right.
No,
But what's
you
so
idiot.
cool, but it's so my approach though is like I
Dumb
really
13-year-old.
Well, that's exactly. And that's a lot of people's experience. But for me, I go in and I look at these kids and I remember what I was feeling. I was suffering.
Yeah.
These kids are suffering.
Yeah.
So them just saying that is really a cry out for help. So I just sit there and I'm patient and I'm present and and I'm literally just sending them love and an understanding this life's fucking tough, and I grew up in trauma, a lot of pain. I had suicidal tendencies. I was extremely overweight. I was suffering so much, and so the fact that I transcended that. Listen to me, my friends. I have the answers, and and they're receptive. And I think, and I go in and I'm pretty real. I'm not I am not glorifying.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard.
Yeah, you're not trying to make yourself a Christ-like figure. You're going, yo,
it's hard,
here's the way to follow.
Yeah.
It worked for me.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I mean, not everything works for every person. Right. Maybe somebody just has a mental block, and it's just something. Maybe they're just the way that their brain chemistry works. Maybe they're not going to be able to get into this. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to be able to follow the steps that you did, but maybe they're still able to pull an idea from what you threw out at them. And for some people, I find myself thinking of things 15 years later going, oh, this person said this one thing, and it always just kind of stuck in the back of my head. I didn't really know what it meant, and I don't know what they meant, but now I gave it a meaning, and it is helping me learn something or develop something about myself. So you're teaching these kids and the adults, and maybe it's not for you, but you can still be open-minded and find something to take home with you for life. Like you're giving them, again, the idea of it, calling it a tool. Like that's what it is. It is.
We should have done a yoga session.
We should have.
Part 2.
Part 2.
I was thinking.
We're talking about doing coming up some videos outside
of the house.
So where we will go and like shoot something. So we can definitely set up a segment where you teach us basic poses.
I would love to teach you guys.
He does have a lot of really good red
tight pants. I got a lot
of
tight, awesome
Star Wars tights.
And then you guys can, you can give your testimony. How does it feel?
Yeah,
true.
Definitely. I find myself sometimes like not knowing. I've looked up like when I had like lower back pain or something like that. Just like found like yoga for lower back pain, and so there have been like spurts of my life where I've done like what I would call very light minor yoga, like a 5 or 10 minute thing, 3 or 4 times a week for about like a month at a time, and then I'll like pull away from it, and life happens, things get in the way, blah blah blah.
And Greek. And,
here we go. Here we go. I was waiting for it.
Not yogurt. Yoga.
I was waiting.
I think this is the first.
So long to pull
that is the first one.
Joke.
That is the first. I was betting that I was going to do at least 5 yogurt jokes, and maybe they'll still.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Spaceballs.
It is. That's what it is.
May the
Spaceballs.
Schwartz be with you.
Yogurt.
I love it. It's cool. Yeah.
But yeah. So, what are your plans? Kind of like I was saying before, like for the you're doing the curriculum now, but like in a bullshit interview question type of way, like 5 years from now, what do you hope that this becomes?
Yeah, I really know my purpose is to create a mass shift in like the education system, and I'm partnering with incredible people, especially like in New York, like top influencers who are bringing this like into their entire school.
Hell yeah.
And what's so great about this, it's all like science proven now, and it's a lot of it is like legitimately proven
something
from Harvard.
30 years ago, people are like, "Oh, this hokey bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
These
so
fucking
now,
long-haired hippie types."
Yeah. Exactly, and now it's come full circle.
Flowers and whatnot. Come on.
Exactly, and so
That's cool. Awesome.
I just see me having access to travel and do like big, massive work, and just working with thousands of people in a space.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We better get some VIP tickets.
Well, yeah. I remember it. I feel it. And it's cool because it's like the opportunities just keep coming and they keep becoming bigger and better. But it's really like I'm moving from my intention of like really that it has nothing to do with me or fame or success. It has to do with being with a child and seeing something click and now they feel safe and comfortable. And that to me is abundance.
Hell yeah.
That's
awesome.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, Amy, I want to say thank you so much for coming on and letting us, pick your brain.
Yeah,
and
cool.
we are definitely going to make one of our first outside the houseboat adventures be you teaching us how to do it.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be funny at least. I'll say that. Sure. It'll be funny at least. All right. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything that you want to plug? Anything coming up that you want to let the public that might be listening know? People with kids, anything like that?
Just stay tuned with Shawnee. I just partnered with Shawnee. We just planned 9 retreats starting from March through September.
All right.
So every month we'll be doing a retreat, weekly classes, and then likely I'll be in the school doing the work.
Very awesome.
And they get the information from Shawnee?
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's all like this is brand new, but
so just look up Shawnee in, and then do you want to plug your social media for anything?
Yes, Amy Lee Flower.
Amy Lee Flower on Instagram. You can check her out there. Again, thank you so much for joining us. It was really awesome to catch up. At some point, we could hang out and talk in not a microphone situation, cool. But I don't like to do that too much. All right. So thank you again to Amy. Again, Amy Lee Flower on Instagram. And as always, here's our final segment. Let me ask you a question from Let Me Ask You a Question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question from Let me ask you a question. Oh yeah, look at them gams. Yeah. I got some gams there. Oh.
Yeah, what's that? Is that grandma hams?
That's grandma hams. That's what my legs look like. Hams made of grandma. I think that's. I got the veins and the spots.
Got the hams.
Cam with the ham.
My grandma outrun your grandma any day.
She's got them gam legs.
Graham's got the grandma legs.
Oh, Graham. All right, so every week we like to kind of do a shameless plug for Let Me Ask You a Question. Let Me Ask You a Question is our Brother Sister Love podcast, and they every week get together, and Anthony or Eric,
except for last week,
they put it out on Wednesday. We just didn't get to it, so we had to go with an old one. So we actually had 2 episodes since we were last on last week, where Anthony asks usually a ridiculous question, or sometimes Eric. The one that was put out yesterday is a question from Eric, and what I like to do is bring you that question, ask everybody here, and wrap up the show with a little bit of cross promotion. So on yesterday's episode, the question is, what guilty pleasure songs from your past are or were important to you? Something that changed your life, and maybe you don't see it as a guilty pleasure now, but you did back then, or maybe it's still something that you just go, yeah, I don't really tell many people that I listen to this, or when it comes on, you go, oh fuck, I love this. Why do I love this? God damn it. Yeah. I don't know what, Justin, do you
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. Google Dolls, Iris.
Iris.
Oh, yeah.
Google Dolls.
I mean,
oh my God.
Yeah, it's such a good song. That's a great album. I mean, it
yeah,
is.
and you brought that up earlier, and I said that immediately Google Dolls, and then from that time period, I would throw in, for me, Third Eye Blind. You know, some people overplay. You said you had a friend that kind of ruined it for you, but just playing it nonstop. But those are both bands that I was just kind of like, I don't want to let anybody know that I am into these bands while I'm here at the Strength for a Reason Hardcore Basement Show. I don't want anybody to find out that I'll be going home and singing Slide to myself later on. Because Slide, we all know for me, that is not a guilty pleasure. I am proud about that pleasure for Slide.
I fucking hate the Goo Goo Dolls.
You hate the Goo Goo? Well, then, do you have something that you love that you think other people hate, or that was a shame thing for you? You don't really have a lot of shame when it comes to music. You openly love it.
I had at one time one moment of shame.
Once in my life, it was when they stripped him of all his clothes, shaved his head, and forced him to walk through the city.
And then I got over it.
That's Game of Thrones.
Oh, damn
it. We're getting sued.
She looks just like Zach. I don't know.
So what was your one time?
What was your one time of shame?
You know, being like 11 years old and loving Limp Bizkit, girl bands were not okay.
Yeah.
Girl bands?
You know,
being
11,
a Limp Bizkit
12,
fan, you
being
can't
a
like...
Limp Bizkit fan,
Limp
but like,
Bizkit.
I don't need that girly music. And then I got the first Yeah Yeah Yeahs album on CD.
Oh.
And I was...
thought you were going to go Spice Girls, but you're...
No.
I thought it was going to be No Doubt, honestly.
It's still
Weird Al?
I thought it was going to be No Doubt.
Oh, No Doubt.
But Weird Al.
No. Well, yeah, I did love No Doubt. But I still felt like, I should be listening to any like girl bands. And then I got that first Yeah Yeahs album that I like, I'm on a date with that night. And that shit was so brutal.
Oh, yeah.
And
album.
for weeks, I was just like...
Don't tell
like,
anybody.
not telling... Like, not
Are you
playing
listening
it
to this
out
on
loud.
MP3 or are you listening to the CD?
CD.
So you had to hide a physical copy of something.
Yeah.
There is shame. There's more shame when you have to physically hide something. Like porn back in the day, you could just hide your porn, and you had shame attached to your porn. Now,
were you worried your dad was going to come in your room and find it and be like, what the fuck is this?
Exactly. You don't want your friend coming over.
But then my dad heard it, and he's like, yo, this is awesome!
So your dad backed you up on it.
Yeah, my dad backed me up that this girl band, well, this is one girl in the band, but that this,
but when they're the
this
vocalist,
band where and she's like, yeah, this is awesome, dude. Where'd you find this? I was like, it is like,
we're good?
Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay, thank you, Daddy.
And then, like, ever since I am so obsessed with, like, female
singers,
especially female punk shit. Then I got into, like, Distillers.
Yeah.
And No Doubt.
Did you ever get into the Donnas?
The Donnas.
Yeah, the Donnas. That was a guilty pleasure for a while for me.
Female, but, you know, it was like a couple weeks where I was hiding a Yeah CD, and people were like, people would probably be like, that shit sounds like garbage right now. Like, like, you should get the pleasure because they suck. Like, fuck you. That album is so goddamn good.
Album.
Hell yeah. Now, what about you,
So
Amy?
good.
Anything growing up that you hid from your friends? Like maybe while you were in your Hawthorne Heights phase,
Yeah,
that you didn't want anybody to know that you loved Hello Goodbye or something along those lines?
Yeah, very like that. Honestly, I like went a little different. Like I love to like work out to like Ludacris.
Shit.
Oh, Ludacris is
So
awesome.
your guilty pleasure, you don't want the hippies knowing that you're listening to Luda.
I loved rap too.
Yeah,
Like anything that was just like a vibe. I just didn't, yeah.
Do you meditate to anything that seems to be odd to meditate to? Like, is there anything that just puts you in like a good spot that nobody?
Black metal.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, exactly.
like people work out and they work out to like the loudest, heaviest, so they can be like grunting and screaming and everything along with it. Is there? I mean, to me, the trope would be that you're listening to Enya while you meditate. Is there anything weird that you meditate towards or do you just do it to silence?
I honestly meditate mostly to silence, but I have music playing 24/7. But like the guilty pleasure is some like hardcore rap while I'm working out.
Hell yeah.
And like some Dr. Dre like driving pretty fast.
Hell yeah, fuck yeah. Now, for me, we're gonna go opposite of that for sure. And this is now the second week in a row that I'm openly admitting to it. Now I think I just have to admit to it. I'm learning. I really like Maroon 5.
You do.
I really like Maroon 5. And as Alicia put it last week, they are the Bud Light of bands.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I hate them. Okay, it's not that bad.
Like,
Sort of like this
all you
beer.
got is Maroon 5.
All you got is Maroon 5.
Fine, it's good.
Yeah.
The spicy Dos Equis of
Well, and
beer.
I'll say, going back to the Spicy Dos Equis, give it a second chance. I finished both of them.
This shit,
And it
though.
doesn't foam all over you. I have not opened another one of these because the foam, it's been sitting still for an hour.
Nuts are wet with
Oh. But no, Maroon 5 for sure, I've realized is one that has... I've probably been mocking them for 20 years, and I remember about like 10 years ago, I heard their song from, I forget what the name of their band was before they changed it to Maroon 5, but they had a record deal in the mid-90s.
Blue
and
number 2.
It was something like Flowers or Sarah Flowers or something like that, was their first band's like big single. And it was a little bit more alternative rock, a little bit more like the Everclear, but a slightly pop-punky feel to it. This is like 98 when they were babies. And then they broke up as Maroon 5, I think, to kind of skirt the record company that they owed money to, and then became Maroon 5, and then formed. And I would put them kind of, another thing we talked about last week, like John Mayer, where it's just kind of like, I heard them, and I was like, this fucking pussy shit. Like, what the hell? Like, I'm over here listening to real tough things, like Big D and the Kids Table. This is
My
fucking,
girlfriend's on drugs! My girlfriend, that's a good song.
It is a good song. Oh, God, that band. But
She said I'm a winner. Oh, man, I forgot that was a band right now.
But then looking back at it now, I'm like, I was a huge fan of ska, and it was not a guilty pleasure. I threw that out there. Like, that was like my thing. I loved Goldfinger. I loved Real Big Fish. Less Than Jake, Catch-22. Those bands were like my
the whole
go-to.
ska scene.
I loved it. So my guilty pleasure, became, unbeknownst to me this last 20 years, has been Maroon 5, and it's probably solely based on Adam Levine's voice. He has...
I thought you were going to say bye.
His body and his... Hey, his voice is encased in that beautiful, beautiful body.
Yes.
But just don't shake it on the fucking Super Bowl stage anymore. That's all I ask of you. What are you doing with them nips? We don't want to see them nips.
Speaking of which, have you seen the meme of when they're like family programming and it shows Dancing with the Stars, and then it's like Super Bowl ad, and it's just like moms all pissed off
about the Super Bowl?
Well, happy about the Dancing with the Stars and pissed off about the Super Bowl.
I saw that I saw one where it was like them last year, Adam Levine, Moms Everywhere. Like,
yeah, well, there was that one too.
And then last week, Moms Everywhere, dumb sluts, just kind of like them being like angry at them.
Stripper Bowl.
Stripper Bowl was an amazing performance. And then I also realized through that performance that J-Lo and Shakira are some of my
I knew every song.
I knew every
song. I knew
single
all
song,
the words.
all of the words.
Like,
Yeah, J-Lo.
Waiting for tonight came on, and I was like, yo,
You-
this,
Guilty
I looked at my
pleasure.
dad, I was like, yo, this is
Waiting-
a banger, isn't
to
it?
the
He's
point where
like,
I'm sitting there
yeah,
going
it
like,
is.
waiting for tonight. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, I love it.
Good song.
Anything that's got a nice hook to it, that's got a nice catch, it's just catchy as hell, I'm going to gravitate towards. And it's weird to think that I was into the cheesiest thing in the punk world, being ska, and I was mocked by so many people for liking ska, but I was afraid to admit that I like something like Maroon 5. And another band that kind of pops in my head is, I was talking about him earlier, Keen. Somewhere Only We Go, or Somewhere Only We Know. Like, that album, that full album is phenomenal. Somebody left a bunch of credits on the jukebox at work the other day, and I played almost the entire album. I was like, oh, I forgot about them. And I put it on, I'm like, oh yeah, I would not have told anybody that I liked Keen or Jet back in the day.
Jet was good though.
Jet was great. Like Cold Hard Bitch and Are You Gonna Be My Girl? Whatever. They're songs.
I mean, they're lumped in with like Wolf Mother for me.
Yeah.
Like Wolf Mother is like one of those bands.
Yeah.
Slacky sang Joan Osborne.
Joan Osborne. Dude. Joan Osborne, again, not really a guilty pleasure. I'm out.
See, my dad loves that.
Yeah.
So that's when he said that the girl singer was cool. Then I got into all the girl singers that my dad liked.
You needed him to open the door for you.
I loved fucking Joan Osborne.
Yeah. He
that long-haired lesbian.
You were saying how it was like the single, What If God Was One of Us, he likes, but he listened to that album.
That album,
He loved that album.
There was a song called Let's Just Get Naked.
Damn.
He loved that song.
Did your mom like any of it?
My mom is such
Did you ever hear that song slowly playing
woman,
from the bedroom? You ever hear that song from the bedroom? Let's Get Naked, and you're just like, all right, time to put the Slipknot. Trying to put on Slipknot.
Putting on Limp Bizkit.
Put on the Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit in my room, Joan Osborne in my parents' room. That's my childhood.
So you can't hear them banging against the... All right, okay, they listen to this program sometimes.
Good for you, Mom and Dad.
I don't want to say get it in, but...
Get it on!
I hope the next dinner you go to, your dad fucks with you and has it playing in the room.
My dad is always fucking with me. You know he'll do that.
He's going to do it. Daddy, go for it. Go for it, Daddy.
Green light.
All right, okay, guys. Well, I want to say again a big thank you.
I love you, Mom.
To a big thank you to Debbie and Danny, because without them getting naked, there ain't no Zach here. So let's get naked.
True.
Not us.
Not together.
Not together. That would be weird. You guys do it alone. I'll be over here doing it by myself.
Where am I going to be?
Okay,
I don't want to be there, and if you're here, I don't want to be here either.
All right.
I'll be at work, I guess.
Go to work. Go to work.
Well, it's 11:30 at night. Time to go to work.
All right. A big thank you to Fire with Friends for letting us play that single
again. It was rad.
Off of Bearings, their split EP with Sweetness, the song White Owl. A big thank you again to Amy for joining us. Thank you so much. Check her out. Again, just look out for Shawnee. They're going to be Shawnee Inn, I'm assuming, ShawneeInn.com. Sure. Go over there, ask for Rob Howell specifically by name, and bother him until he tells you where the yoga is happening. That's how I would find out about it.
Cool.
Or you can find
Visit
him on
him
their
every
website.
day.
Visit him every day. Bother the shit out of Rob. He's not that busy running the entire place. All right, and then as always, a big thank you to Let Me Ask You a Question, Moot.tv, and our super producer EJ5000 for getting us out every single week so you guys can listen to us. Stay tuned throughout the week for us to release different parts of this episode all segmented up. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties. YouTube's a bitch sometimes.
Yeah.
So
I thought we were
going to
get through
bearing with
free and
us.
Clear.
Yeah, it was looking
YouTube's a
good.
bitch, and
It
so's
was
your
looking good.
sister.
And then it was, oh, wow. Which one? I have 5 sisters. Should I pick? All right, I'll pick. One of the co's. Keith. Keith's my favorite sister.
Keith.
All right. So, again, check out Moot.tv, everything from the guys over there. And then, as always, big thank you to Mr. Justin Olimpedo for putting this all together for us.
Anytime.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, the offspring of Danny and Tim, Mr. Zachary.
Toe, thumb, hammer, toe.
Thank you very much. Storm it. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will be back next week with a really awesome show where we are going to be having in studio 3 of the members of Steve-O and the Crippling Addiction.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's
that
awesome.
is going to be awesome. We're going to have Steve-O.
Fuck yeah.
Jen and our buddy Cliff Albert will be back for his 3rd time in the houseboat, 2nd time on the show, and the 1st time on camera. So,
Yeah, I thought it was the terrible beer. And I was
Oh,
like,
no. We're not going to be doing that until St. Patty's Day.
Thank God.
Tease that for St. Patty's Day. We're going to be drinking some 7-year-old beer, so stay tuned for that.
What?
Yeah, get ready. They're going to be bad. I got about 10
I gotta go
7-year-old
buy
beers.
diapers.
Yeah, we're not supposed to actually drink them. We're going to sip them and spit them because I think you might die. You might
I'm
get
drinking
coronavirus from that corona. We knew you were going to.
What are you, fucking weak?
Yeah, what are you weak? I am weak.
but you go
And
fucking,
I will see all of you
build
next
your
week.
strength up with some yoga.
Yeah. It's going to be so bad. But yeah, next week, Steve-O and the Crippling Addictions will be back. And then we've got one more episode after that before we take our 6-week break. So make sure you're staying tuned.
6-week break?
I'm sorry, our 2-week
Two-week
break
break.
before our next 6 episodes. I didn't tell you we're going to take 6 weeks off.
Taking
this
6
time.
weeks.
I'm going on
But our
vacation.
2-week break coming up in March. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. Big thank you to Amy, Moucha TV, Fire with Friends. Awesome.
Thanks
we
for
will see
everybody
you
sticking
next
through all
time.
the issues.
Yeah.
Go
all right.
fuck yourselves.
Here's our closing song to play us out as always. The best song we've ever
In the
written.
universe.
Look at that belly. Look at that belly.
Mood.tv.
Get in there.
Hey.
There's nothing more egomaniacal than singing the theme music for your own show. Who am I? Kelsey Grammer. If I could only drink like him, we're gonna write a new one every week. Some will be solid, some will be weak. We're gonna write